New Orleans has nothing to play for, but Birmingham needs to win in order to try to get into the playoffs. Jim Kelly being back might help. Not having their Hall of Fame running back might make it tough for New Orleans, but Eric Lynch makes up for that, getting it to the 50-yard line. This would lead to an Al Del Greco made field goal, 3-0, his only field goal of the game. Andre Ware would take over as he would throw it deep to his favorite receiver, Anthony Miller, and he could go all the way, and he will not be caught today. Touchdown for the Tigers. Anthony Thompson on the next drive for Birmingham would get the ball up the middle. He would get up injured. He would be replaced by Dalton Hilliard. So that'd be tough for Birmingham, and this would lead to a missed Chris Jackie field goal, 10-0. It is a huge trend in this game that Birmingham missed a lot of opportunities. 17 total points of opportunities, and when you can't cover the receiver, that's not going to be good for you, as 2 straight Anthony Miller catches, and then Herman Fontenot would catch his first touchdown of the season from Andre Ware, who stepped it up in this game. Jim Kelly would throw the ball down the left side to Sean Dawkins, and then Andre Reed would catch the ball over the middle inside the 10. Huge mistake here, 2 consecutive interceptions, this first one by Brad Edwards. There will be a second one by Brad Edwards on this drive, but first, Thurman Thomas goes up the middle down to the left side, and then another interception. Like I said already, Brad Edwards intercepts the ball. 2 consecutive opportunities in the red zone. You could get at least 6 points, or you could get 14 points. Rebels get none. On the next drive, Derek Russell would catch this deep pass from Andre Ware. Celebrate Andre Ware. They're winning 24-0. Could be a 4-possession game. Could be a 3-possession game. Another catch by Derek Russell. And here's where Andre Ware would make a mistake, throwing his first interception to Nate Odoms. This would give Thurman Thomas the chance to catch that shovel pass and make it into Tigers territory. Inside the 30, inside the 20, inside the 10. This would lead to, this time, a Chris Jackie made field goal. Weren't able to get a touchdown there, but they got some points to try to make it respectable. Onside kick. Eric Lynch recovers it. So you're thinking it's the 4th quarter. This might be detrimental for the Rebels. But their DBs step up here. Harry Hamilton with the interception and touchback in the end zone would lead to a Jim Kelly pass to Dalton Hilliard to get it into Tigers territory. The shovel pass for Thurman Thomas as he rockets it into the end zone in order to make it a 14-point game. Thurman Thomas, he was the key to this as well on the next drive with the handoff inside the 40. He goes, get off me! And then Jim Kelly would throw it over the middle to his favorite receiver, Andre Ware. 7-point game. Onside kick. Rebels need to recover, and guess what? They do! So they have the ball at 4th and 2, less than 30 seconds. Why not pitch it to our famous running back, Thurman Thomas, and with 4 seconds left, need to get a touchdown, and the ball is incomplete. New Orleans wins 24-17. Birmingham does not make the playoffs yet. They could next week, but guess what? The Miami Riptide do go to the playoffs. They win the division. Congratulations to them and their head coach, Jerry Glanville.
Both the Chicago Chiefs and the Washington Generals are ensured a losing season this year. A direct snap here to Mel Gray, and he'd slip right through the defense. And Gray, caught inside of the 30-yard line, does set up a promising drive for the Generals. That Gray run, capped off by a Curtis Conway touchdown, his 10th of the year, gives Washington the early 7-0 lead. The Generals, led by formerly Drew Bledsoe, but his injury brings in Sean Salisbury, and he has been a big surprise this year, and he finds Gray for another touchdown, giving the Generals an early 14-0 lead. On the other end, offensively, is Jim McMahon. He'd find the electric Taylor loses the ball, leading to the Washington takeaway. Kofor hits the field goal, and the Generals look very good early, up 17-0 over Chicago. The Chiefs, Jim McMahon, Big play quarterback, and he finds John Taylor, the speedster, on the receiving end of that one. He has racked up over 1,300 yards this season. This time it's Art Monk's turn on the receiving end of a McMahon pass, and his touchdown puts Chicago right back in the game. Next, Chiefs drive. Down by 10, it's Edmonds' turn. He gets by the defense, but that pass is intercepted. Rich Miano on the takeaway for Washington. Mark Duper gets under this long ball, and as the defense falls down, he loses the foot race to the end zone, but sets up another red zone drive for Salisbury. But this time, the quarterback is intercepted, giving McMahon and the Chiefs another turn late in the first half. He dial up another deep ball to John Taylor. He get past the defense, but is stopped before the end zone, but they would have a chance to kick a field goal here, and this one is good by way of Jason Stravosky. 17-10. Washington looked in full control of this ball game early, but Chicago slowly chipped things away. Hall of Fame runner Barry Sanders, it was only a matter of time before he'd make a big play. Stopped inside of the 15, but he moves the chains for Chicago. Then 2 plays later, McMahon hands to Sanders, who does the rest himself. Barry Sanders this season, not a very productive year, but does score his 7th touchdown of the campaign. Chicago scores 17 unanswered. McMahon goes deep for Monk in an effort to take the lead, and he outruns the defense for the go-ahead touchdown. A masterful comeback by the Chiefs, who lead at 24-17 late. Fullage in what was a strange fake field goal pass. He is sacked, leading to a kick from Kofor. Now down 10, Washington's desperate for something. Mark Duper is the man that gives them that something, down 10 late in the ballgame. Later in the drive, Salisbury fakes the run and finds his man Derek Fenner for the touchdown, and that is the first points since the first 8 minutes of the game, and desperately needed for Washington. All Chicago needs is to run out the clock. They couldn't do that, but Kofor's kick to put them up 6 is no good. Big break for Washington, but they could not get the ball in the end zone and lose it by 3. 27-24, Chiefs.
The Philadelphia Spirit will be hosting the Boston Eagles with Joe Montana on the first drive is looking for a pass. You see Michael Hayes wide open across midfield, catches it, gets past the 30, past the 20, is stopped on the 12-yard line, but unfortunately it came down to a field goal, but Philadelphia will take the lead 3-0. In the following drive, Dave Krieg is looking for a pass. Like you see Ernest Byer wide open, throws it, gets past midfield, catches it, gets past the 40, stopped on the 38-yard line. The following play, Dave Krieg is looking for yet another pass as both his receivers is open once again, catches it for the touchdown for Randall Hill. Boston takes the lead. So Joe Montana is looking to catch up. He's looking for a pass with a play action, throws it, completes it to Johnny Johnson, gets past midfield, gains still more, gets past the 40, stopped on the 30-yard line. And soon after, Joe Montana with another pass, throws it, completes it to Mark Carrier, gets to the touchdown. Philadelphia takes the lead. Krieg is looking for a pass the following drive. He is scrambling around, gets through, dodges the tackle, wide open to Fernanda. He gets past the 30, stopped on the 24-yard line. In the next play, Krieg scrambles around, misses yet another tackle, throws it, completes it to Fernandez for the touchdown. What a great game by far. Joe Montana backs away, looks for a pass, completes it to Mark Carrier, gets past midfield. He's still running, it's down on the 48-yard line. In the following play, Foster runs it in for the touchdown. Krieg's under center, he's looking for a pass, backs away, back on the 30-yard line, almost gets sacked, throws it, completes it to Ernest Byer, is wide open, gets past the 20, past the 10, stopped on the 8-yard line, and this time Byer gives it to Bailey, runs it in for the touchdown. We have a close game between Philly and Boston. Philly was not able to capitalize, so Boston took it all the way up to field goal range, kicks it up, tries to extend the lead, but unfortunately it was deflected, no good. So the game is still alive for Philadelphia. Joe Montana is backing away, looking for a pass, throws it, cross midfield, completes it to Michael Hayes, gets past the 30, misses a tackle, gets past the 20, the 10, the 5, touchdown Spirit. What a beautiful pass by Joe Montana. Ladies and gentlemen, what a great game. Dave Krieg is looking for a pass, backs away, almost gets sacked, throws it to Biner. Once again, he is wide open. He's short of the 30-yard line, but was able to settle for the field goal, and the game is only a 1-point lead by Philadelphia. Joe Montana is looking for a pass, backs away, almost gets sacked, throws it midfield. And it is complete by Michael Hayes, and he gets it in for the touchdown. What a football by the Philadelphia Spirit in Boston. Dave Creek throws it. Wow, what a beautiful play. He gets another touchdown back-to-back. It is a one-point game. Joe Montana is looking for a pass, throws it, completes it to Michael Hayes. What a shootout between both teams, but it turns out to be a field goal. The game is currently 34-30. Philadelphia is leading. Dave Creek throws it, completes it to Hill as he gets past the 30, the 20, the 10, the 5. Touchdown, Boston. What a football. This ought to be called the Super Bowl. This has to be the greatest game when he gets, and I'm interrupted. Dave Creek is down for the injury. Wow, what a beautiful game, but it could be a bad inning for Boston because Dave Creek is down. He's limping off field as he gets sacked by the Philadelphia Spirits defenders. But currently, it looks like they're making a decision as Scott I'm having a hard time pronouncing his name. Secules. Scott Secules. Scott. I'm so going to get fired for this.
Scott Secules.
Okay, Scott Secules. I hope that's how it's pronounced. Okay. So Philadelphia took over as they're looking to retake the league and take this game. Joe Montana is looking for a pass. Can he win this game? No, he could not. The game is intercepted. It is over. The Philadelphia Spirit was not able to catch up. So Boston is looking to keep the lead as they're moving. Oh, they were able to get more than enough to move the chains, which is more than enough to take the win over the Philadelphia Spirit 40-34. And by the way, ladies and gentlemen, Week 16 will be the deciding factor of who wins the division out of the Philadelphia Spirit and the Boston Eagles. The Philadelphia Spirit has a great chance to win this division. All it takes is that they have to win next week. However, if the Philadelphia Spirit loses and the Boston Eagles win, the Eagles can claim that division. But whichever happens, both teams do have a great chance of making the playoffs already. But the Philadelphia Spirit has to win this. That's all it takes for them to claim this division.
Hey, thanks, Desert Eagle 90. And now let's go to some of the scenarios for the playoffs, starting off with the Warthog Conference. If the Philadelphia Spirit wins or Boston loses, the Spirit receive the #1 seed, and they will win the Warthog Atlantic Division. If Philadelphia loses and Boston wins, then Boston wins the Warthog Atlantic Division. Philadelphia gains the 4th seed and a home playoff game. Louisville Lightning. If they win, Cleveland loses, Louisville wins the Warthog Mountain Division. If Louisville loses and Cleveland wins, then Cleveland wins the Warthog Mountain Division. And of course, this would all count for points if those would be included there. Moving on to the Buffalo Stampede. If the Stampede win, Milwaukee loses, then Buffalo wins the Warthog Central Division. If Buffalo loses and Milwaukee wins, then Milwaukee wins the Warthog Central Division. Most likely, if both teams win, Buffalo wins the Warthog Central Division. Cleveland Cardinals, Boston Eagles have clinched the playoffs but could still win their respective divisions. If Indianapolis wins, they are in. If Indianapolis loses and Cincinnati wins, they are in. If both teams lose and Milwaukee wins, Milwaukee is in. And these would all depend on points. Now for the Bobcat Conference Division leaders, Los Angeles Stars. If LA wins by more points than Portland, then they win the #1 seed. Of course, they've already locked up the Bobcat Southwestern Division, and they would get the #1 seed in that case. If Portland wins and Boise loses, Portland wins the Bobcat Northwestern Division. If Portland loses and Boise wins, Boise wins the Bobcat Northwestern Division. If both teams lose, then Portland would get the Bobcat Northwestern Division. The Miami Riptide have clinched the Bobcat South Atlantic Division and locked up that 3rd seed, so there's nowhere they could go up or down. Boise Colts and Seattle Storm have both clinched the playoffs, however, seeding depends on wins and losses in Week 16. There's a chance that both teams can swap positions. If San Francisco wins and Birmingham loses or ties, then San Francisco takes the 6th seed. If San Francisco loses and Birmingham wins, Birmingham takes the 6th seed. If both teams lose, San Francisco takes the 6th seed. If both teams tie, San Francisco takes the 6th seed. Hope everyone enjoys Week 16, and remember, we need more points!